Welcome to Top Marketing Strategies that actually work for accounting firms. This is the first in a new series that I am doing with Financial Sense. My name is Blake Oliver. I'm a CPA. I got my start as a bookkeeper, and now I host the #1 podcast for accountants and bookkeepers in the world called the Cloud Accounting Podcast. And so I love talking with interesting, knowledgeable folks such as Amanda Watts, who has joined me today for our session. Welcome, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
This is going to be great. This show is brought to you by Financial Sense, accounting practice management software for accountants and bookkeepers. You can learn more at financial-sense.com. And for those of you who have joined us live today, I'm going to go ahead and put that link right in the chat so you can check them out. The thing I like about Financial Sense is that they are trying to be the easiest practice management software, the easiest to put into your firm. And I think that's really important. When we're all super busy, we all have a lot of business, more to do than we can possibly do. If you put in software, it needs to be easy. And I guess that kind of gets us into the discussion today about marketing, which is marketing's interesting in accounting because we've all actually got, in the United States anyway, too much work to do. There aren't enough accountants these days. And so the traditional purpose of marketing, right, is to bring in clients. But when you've already got a ton of clients, like why even do marketing, right? So marketing in accounting firms is very different than it is in any other type of business where you're constantly trying to get people in your store. You're constantly trying to get people to buy stuff, right? We don't really have the same problem. So Amanda, maybe we could start with that. What does successful marketing look like in accounting firms, given how different we are from other businesses?
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that I love about accounting firms is that everybody needs an accountant. So it's not difficult to get clients as long as you talk to people. However, marketing for accounting firms becomes an absolute godsend if you want better clients, because we know that it's easy to get clients, but marketing puts you in control of getting the best clients out there. And there are lots of new businesses starting up every single year. One of the questions could be, do you want a new business or would you rather have an established business? And when you're clear on who is a really good client for you, you can purposely go out and market to them and get them as a client. So yeah, 100%. Accountants can rely on referrals. They can go to networking events and they will have people say, I want to work with you. There is not a dearth of clients, but there is a dearth of good clients, the clients that will pay you for your expertise well and not question you on price. So that's what I want to talk to you really about, is how marketing gets you better clients. It doesn't necessarily just get you clients, it gets you the better clients.
Clients that are happy to pay more, that are nice to you and to your staff, that are easy to work with. Yes, I think we all agree. We don't want the clients that are a pain, right? How do we replace those clients that just make life unpleasant with those that help us? Yeah, totally. Well, let's talk about some of those marketing strategies. And by the way, if you have joined us here in Zoom, you can ask questions. Please use the Q&A, chat with us, let us know what you think. I'm monitoring this and I'll be happy to post any of your questions up to Amanda and take advantage of her expertise, right? She's normally charging people for this. So we get free access for the next hour.
Yeah, different.
So we're going to talk about marketing strategies that work, marketing strategies that don't work. And I really want to talk about the ones that don't work. I think that's always fun, is talking about the mistakes, the things we've wasted money on. I personally wasted a lot of money on things. Happy to share some of those stories.
Please do. Yeah, brilliant.
In preparation for this webinar, I was talking with my friend Tate, and he joked. He said, "Wait, you're saying there are some that work?" Because I think a lot of times, we do marketing and we're not sure if it works. And he specifically called out, what about these people that are messaging me on LinkedIn in my private messages that are just harassing me? Like that's one of those marketing strategies that we get hit with all the time as accountants. Does that work? Does it not work?
Yeah, it's really interesting, because if you'd asked me that question in 2019, I would have been so excited and said 100% it works. But there's a saying out there that marketing's great, but marketers ruin marketing. Okay. So in 2019, there was a huge craze that started, and it was very, very sensible. It was build an audience of people. And then that audience of people, you reach out to them, just like you used to get, or we get them again now, but we get the cold emails. You would then get the cold direct messaging on LinkedIn. And because it was new, it worked. Okay. If you were to send 30 messages to an ideal client, I would say 5 of those would go, hey, do you know what? I am interested. Let's have a call. The problem is now is we're 3-4 years down the line, and every potential client has been messaged a few times by a lot of people. Okay. So just for me, back in 2019, I could send a message to an accountant and they didn't think anything of it. They actually thought, oh, Amanda's being lovely. She's reaching out and offering to help. But if I do it now, it's like, oh my gosh, Amanda's spamming me. It's horrendous. I can't do that. So marketing's changed. And the question that you ask is a different answer now than it would have been 4 years ago. So yeah, marketing that doesn't work is things like spamming people in the inbox. You can have that in your Gmail. You can have that in your LinkedIn. You can have that on your Instagram. Nobody wants to be spammed. Nobody wants to, the accountants don't want the clients that type into Google, cheapest accountant near me. Okay, so that's still marketing, but nobody wants that client. So that marketing doesn't work if you rely on Google and you rely on being the cheapest. Other marketing that doesn't work is, hey, buy my stuff. So if you're constantly pushing buy my stuff, talking about accounting all the time doesn't work. Marketing, if you look up marketing on Google, it says that it's a way to push your services, but actually it's done. We're done with marketing that way. It has to be done in a way that builds relationships. And we have to understand that it can take 2 years to build a relationship with someone. So yeah, there's lots that doesn't work.
So spamming people doesn't work. Just going after the people who are searching for cheap stuff on Google doesn't work. Okay. What about like Facebook ads? What about social media? Like, does that work? Does that not work? Tell me more about that.
There's some foundations you have to have in place. If you haven't got a really clear idea of an ideal client, if you don't understand their pains and their frustrations, if you're not understanding the real reason that they're laying awake at night, then your marketing won't work. It doesn't matter how many times you post on social media. So what we really have to do when it comes to marketing is take a small step back and look at strategy. And we have to say, who's a really good client? What is our message to them? What is the thing that we're really good at as the accountant or bookkeeper? So what is the service that we want to supply our really good client? And then what is the offer and the message that we're going to take to market? And we don't say, hey, buy my stuff. We say, you've got this pain. Here's some help. Like a little bit like you were saying, Blake, a minute ago, ask questions. You've got Amanda. We're here to help. This is me marketing, but there's no sell. There's just, this is what I'm good at. Talk to me about it. I'm going to share my stuff. And then people will go, do you know what? I know her. I like her. I trust her. Then I'll buy from her. Or some people will go, I can't stand the sound of her voice. I don't like marketers. So they've already prejudged. I don't trust her. I'm never going to reach out. Okay. And different people will find that they're attracted to different marketers. And as a business owner, you are a marketer because you have to go out and get the best clients for your business to succeed.
One of our listeners said, we buy from those we know, like, and trust. Yes, exactly. So
the KLT factor.
Okay. So how do we then, let's walk through some examples, right? Some strategies. How do we get potential clients to know, like, and trust us? Is it doing stuff like webinars like this? What's your recommendation?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that we have to understand is that if you start marketing today, there is a very small chance you'll get a client tomorrow, because it takes time for people to know, like, and trust you. And also there's only a small percentage of people that are in that kind of buy now buying window. So there's this general rule that was put together, and it's 3% of your audience are looking to buy accounting services now, 7% in the next 90 days, 40% in the next 2 years, okay? And 50% of people are not looking for a new accountant at all. So if you were marketing to 1,000 people on LinkedIn, if all of them were taking notice of you, only 3% of them are actually in that buying window. So what we have to understand is that we have to build a relationship, not just with the 3%, but with the 7% and the 40%, and understand that marketing can take 2 years to come into effect. And we will build the know, like, trust factor by supplying value. And the more free value you give, the more valuable you will be perceived, and the more value you can charge after you've had a conversation with someone. If they don't see you as valuable, then they will actually go, do you know what? You're more expensive than Bob down the road. I'm going to go to Bob down the road, and they'll compare you on price. So it's really important when we're doing marketing to do relationship marketing. And the best way to do that is through content marketing. So webinar is content marketing, creating an ebook is content marketing, Facebook advertising is content marketing. You've got to get people in front, you've got to get in front of people. Content marketing is blogging, content marketing is short TikToks, it's Instagram. The thing is choosing the right one for you and the right one for your client. So being in the right place at the right time, doing something that you feel aligned with.
So that can be challenging, though, given we don't have a lot of time to, put together a webinar or to write a blog post. I struggled with this when I had my own practice. I'd say, okay, I'm going to write a blog post every week. And then that blog post would get pushed to next week and pushed to next week and pushed to next week. Do you have any tips for us on like the easiest way to start doing content marketing if we're not doing it now? What should I go after?
Oh, crumbs. Okay, so the easiest way is to find support. So normally the practice owner is really, really busy. So the practice owner needs to make a few decisions. Who's a good client? What's the offer going to be? What's the marketing message? Then when I work with my clients, we say, get yourself a marketing exec or even an admin person to take away that grunt work. So make sure that you're not the one who's posting on your LinkedIn. Make sure you've got an admin person to support you. And if you don't know what to write and you don't know what to say, then speak to your clients, listen to your clients. So get a really clear understanding of the problems that your clients have and create content around that. So say, for example, one of the clients say to you, oh, I really struggle with my cash flow. I can't pay my team next month. What am I going to do? You go, oh, this is how I help you. And then you turn that conversation into a blog, or you turn that conversation into a Loom video. And there you go. You've got a piece of marketing. Okay. So you can use your conversations with your clients to then become your marketing pieces. And that's a really good place for you to start.
That makes a lot of sense. So I'm already having this conversation with a client. I'm now just going to take that bit of insight, knowledge, and I'm going to repackage it and send it to everyone. And
absolutely.
And I'm also saving myself time, right? Because I'm no longer having to tell this to every single client over and over and over again. So I guess,
right.
The way I would work on this is I'd say, like, what are the questions I'm constantly answering for people over and over again?
Yeah, absolutely. And the most amazing thing starts to happen because you start to become more efficient. You said to me a moment ago that, you're working all the hours under the sun, but you are answering that question 20 times a month to your clients. So you record a video with the answer to that question and they send you an email. And instead of you going, oh, let's book a half an hour call, I'll run through it with you, you can just send them that video. So it helps your clients as well as helps your marketing. And my best marketing is when I have my Q&A calls with my clients. They ask me questions and I go, oh, that was great. I'm going to record a video tomorrow on that. And it's great. And then I then put that into my program and it becomes my marketing as well.
So what advice do you have for firms that are struggling to get new leads from their marketing efforts? Maybe they're doing this, maybe they're doing something else. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah. If you're struggling, I would like you to, first of all, check in with yourself, because there's something that I call marketing Zen. And I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, but I work with a lot of introverts. So the people that I work with tend to find marketing difficult because it means that we have to push ourselves out of our comfort zone. So marketing Zen is three things. Marketing Zen is getting the right strategy, managing your energy, so you've got the energy to do it, and then doing things that are in alignment. So the first question that I have is, what marketing are you doing? And does it make you feel icky? Do you not enjoy it? Does it come across the energy that you're putting into it? Is it not right? Because it could literally be something as simple as, oh, you want me to post on Facebook and I hate Facebook, but I'll do it anyway, and it's not going to work. So it's all about having alignment with your personality and who you are, making sure that you bring energy to that marketing. And I know that that can be quite difficult as introverts, that there's different kinds of introverts that I work with, but one of the types is that they're quite anxious and not very confident. So that means that marketing is way outside your comfort zone. So you've got to look at what can you do that leverages your personality, your energy, your integrity, and has a really good strategy to it. So that's the first thing I would do. What do you love and what do you hate about what you're doing already?
Yeah, I mean, you could apply that. I mean, that's good advice for anything in life, right? Is try to do the things that you love, not the things that you don't love. And it especially is valuable in marketing because if you don't like what you're doing, it's going to come across that way when you do it. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess, if you don't like being on camera, you could do a podcast. If you don't like doing live events, do a recorded video. Or if you're nervous alone, get a colleague to do the video with you, right? Do webinars together.
One of the things that I love is being on podcasts and being on webinars, because people ask me questions and I can answer it. And that works very well with my personality because I love helping people. There are other people out there that are like, I don't want to talk to people. I'm really nervous about talking to people. So then the kind of marketing that I would say for them is create testimonials and case studies of your clients and shine the spotlight on your clients rather than have the spotlight shined on you. And therefore, you're not going to feel icky and yucky when you're doing your marketing. What's actually going to happen is you're going to be so proud of your clients and the success that they've had, and they do your marketing for you. So you don't have to be the personal brand and be out there going, this is what I have for dinner and have a look at me at the gym, because that doesn't fit with most people. There are different ways to do marketing aligned with your personality. There's not one size fits all.
Yeah. And I guess you could, like you said, you have to think about who are the ideal clients you want, who are those people. You can like see what they are watching. What are they looking at? What are they doing? I was talking with a CPA, Sandy, for one of my podcast episodes, and she built a whole practice on Instagram, and it was not really on purpose. It was, she's really into personal fitness. And so, personal fitness is big on Instagram, all these trainers, coaches, yoga people posting. And so she just is in those communities already. And she started posting advice for that community and just making like really casual videos. Not getting, all done up for it, just in her gym clothes after a workout. And it helped her build her whole practice practically. So,
and that's because she brought her own energy she was happy with. It was a strategy where her ideal clients were hanging out, and it was in alignment with her personality. That's marketing Zen. Perfect. Great example. Thank you very much.
Well, I didn't come up with it. It was her idea. So I love that term, marketing Zen. That's great. Okay. So you mentioned that it can take 2 years, to see results, like big results from marketing, but that's too long to wait to like do something for 2 years. What if it has zero ROI? Like we can't, right? That doesn't make sense. So how long do you advise that we try something before we pivot or give up?
So I love working with accountants because they're like me and I'm data led. So if you are being consistent and you have numbers and results to look at, you could try something for a month and say, hey, it's not working. You could try an ad on Facebook, and after 4 days, it's not working. So you stop. Okay. And then you try a different ad or you try a different idea. So it could be in as little as 4 days, you could try something and then give up. But what I would say is look at the data. And we started this conversation talking about direct messaging on LinkedIn. With direct messaging on LinkedIn, you'll know after 2 weeks if you're annoying people and not getting traction. If you're being consistent and you're sending 20 messages a day or 30 messages a day, very, very quick market feedback. The things that take longer but do have a longer lifetime is things like blogging or a YouTube channel. Okay, so there's different stages of a sales funnel. And like you were talking about your CPA on Instagram, she will be doing short form videos, getting people's attention, and she's probably then taking people either into a conversation or some more marketing that's a little bit deeper. And what we have to understand is the short form content is there to get people's attention, and that could take 2 years for it to really kick in. But if you have a direct message conversation with someone and it's working, you can get feedback in 2 weeks and know that that's a great way for you. I've run campaigns, direct mail campaigns. I've tried them for 2 weeks, sending 200 a day. And by 2 weeks' time, it's like, all I'm getting is nasty back. So the email's not working, the list isn't great, and you can get feedback really quickly.
You can get that on. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like before you do the thing, make sure that you're going to get numbers back so that you can measure success and have an idea of what that is. When I had my firm, when I was building my bookkeeping practice, I was doing blogging, and I know everybody's doing blogging now, but this was like more than 10 years ago when, content marketing was kind of a newer thing, at least in accounting. And
absolutely.
I was tracking on all of my blog posts. I could see, here's how many visits we got from each blog post. And I started posting on a particular topic, and I saw the visits just shot up, right? That was a topic that really resonated. And so I kept writing about that. And I did a whole series, 8 of them. And I think ultimately those 8 blog posts just ended up driving 80% of the traffic to my website.
100%. I had a client who used to be a personal trainer, and this was about 10 years ago, and she wrote lots of blog posts. She wrote a blog post a day. So she was like me, prolific writer. And she wrote a blog post that was, should you sleep on the floor? Is it good for you? And that blog post in less than a year had 300,000 hits to it.
Wow.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing, because she got a topic that everybody was Googling. And that's where it comes back to, you can get traction quickly if you hit the nail on the head with a really good idea. That's where going viral comes in.
And fortunately now, all the social platforms also have, the metrics that, Twitter will show you how many people saw this tweet, and Instagram will show you how many people watched this video. And so it's important to check in. How often do you check in on the metrics? Like once a week? Is that good?
Yeah, so it is good to check the metrics, but if you look at my socials, I have lots of followers, but very few comments and likes. So if you went to my LinkedIn, a post would get anywhere from maybe 3 to 30 likes or comments on it, okay? Which, when you talk about marketing, that doesn't feel like a lot, but I do have a lot of followers. And the other thing that I have is a lot of messages, people messaging me, and onboarding of clients. So whilst I like to look at the metrics of how many people are liking and commenting, how many people are looking at my blog, my key metrics that I really want to look at is how many leads I get every single week. So my aim, and the aim that I want my clients to have, is to have 100 leads a week. Then we want to say, how many appointments do you have? Because a lead is not an appointment. A lead is someone that comes into your world, that joins your email database or connects with you on LinkedIn and starts messaging you and having a conversation. So you've got leads. Then we have how many appointments do you have? And then from the appointments, how many times can you present your offer to someone? And then how many sales you have. So I want 100 leads. I would like to get 7 to 10 appointments a week. That's really good. I'd like to present my offer to 3 to 5 people, and I want to make 1 to 2 sales a week. Now, my marketing is working if that happens, but you have to look at, first of all, how do you get the top of the funnel working? Because without the top of the funnel, you're not going to get the appointments and then the clients. So yes, content and knowing those numbers is good, but the key thing for me is, how many calls are we booking in that diary every week? Because for an accountant, if we can get them 3 calls a week and they get 1 to 2 clients a month, they're probably quite happy.
Yeah. You don't have to get a lot of clients to make a difference in
No,
the business, most firms.
no,
Uh, and,
exactly.
and I just want to highlight the big changes as you went down that funnel. From 100 leads, we're
Yeah,
aiming to get, 1 or 2 clients a month. And you're talking like
yeah,
100 leads a week. So that's really, it could be, 400 leads to get 2
yeah,
clients.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's what it takes, right? To find the right fit, because most of those leads are just going to be totally the wrong fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember as well, though, that maybe you get 400 leads in January. Don't forget that 7% of those, so whatever 7% of 400 is, I'm not the accountant, but 7% of those are going to buy maybe in 3 months' time. And maybe some of them are going to buy in 2 years' time.
Ah,
So
yeah.
nurture them as well.
Right.
So you have to do what we call keep in touch marketing. So hopefully they're on your email, and then you need to send a newsletter out to them every single week. And I don't mean a traditional accounting newsletter with this is what the latest government has said, because nobody really cares. They want information that helps them with their business.
Yes. And this is where niching or niching really matters, because if you're targeting your content, then they're going to really want to open that email every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I started working with accountants in 2017. And I knew that I needed to get traction fast and build the know, like, trust factor. So I said to myself, I'm going to write 100 blogs in 100 days. And those blogs are going to be what I'm going to ask people to pay me for in 6 months' time. They're going to be so in depth. They're going to be so good that I'm going to position myself as the expert, and I'm going to test this niche because I didn't know if working with accountants was the right one. I'm going to test this niche. And if I get clients off the back of it, then I know that it's a viable niche and I'm going to carry on working with it. But I knew within 90 days whether or not accountants were for me. And actually, I was really lucky, and they've been an amazing, amazing journey for me and for my clients. But I had to work so hard at the beginning. I didn't play at it. I woke up at 5:30 every morning and wrote a 1,500-word article because I was testing a new niche.
That's great.
So,
Yeah, you didn't have to do it one a week and wait 2 years to figure it out. You figured it out within 3 months or 4 months.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. Um, yeah, I like that, because when I want to do something, and I think a lot of accountants are like this, we just go all in on it, right? So this is a good like sprint kind of effort. We got a
Yeah.
question from an attendee
Okay.
about cold email outreach. What does
Mhm.
Amanda think about cold email outreach? She mentioned that she was sending 200 emails per day. How does she measure the success of the cold email outreach campaign?
Yeah. So the problem with the cold email outreach is it's not relationship based. So when we talk about marketing Zen and being in alignment with it, it doesn't actually sit in alignment with me. So my numbers might be slightly skewy just because of the energy that gets put into it. But I get, well, okay, you guys who are listening today, you're going to get cold emails in your inbox. How does it make you feel? Okay, unless you're in so much pain right now that the right email shows up at the right time, it probably feels icky. And you're either going to delete it, mark it as spam, or send a horrible email back. And I would say that out of every 200 emails, I would get 10 nasty emails back. So that for me, and no calls booked in the diary. And that for me very quickly told me that cold email outreach doesn't work with accounting firms. That to be said, cold email outreach does work for some people. So I've got a friend who targets coaches, health and wellness coaches, fitness coaches, and cold email outreach to them does work. So, and what he does is he sends 200 emails a day, and he gets, I think it's about 7 calls a week from cold email. Okay.
Wow.
So that's, yeah. So again, we're going back to the strategy, which is the right strategy for your client with the right message. And I love working with the accounting profession, but you don't make decisions quickly. You're quite, like skeptical of marketers. You don't trust us very much. And you kind of, you already got your barriers up when we reach out to you. You're like, I
Yeah.
don't need a marketer. I can get clients.
And don't sell me. I don't want to get
Yeah,
sold.
absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So I have this rule that when I have sales calls, I never say to people, give me your credit card details. I never say to people, do you want to sign up? I'm like, have a sleep on it. You have to make a really good decision on this. And that served me really well. And I've had over 700 clients since 2017 because of that, because I start relationships off with, if it feels right for you, and I'm a real feely person, if it feels right for you, then we're a good fit. If you are at all nervous, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't give me your money, because we're not going to get on well, because you're going to be scared of me.
I want to emphasize what you said about the email being the right message to the right person at the right time. If it is, it can be really effective. And an example that I've heard of a firm that does well is they serve startups, and they monitor fundraising rounds for startups. And so when a startup enters a certain life phase, they raise their Series A, for instance, that startup accountant knows that that startup now is going to need certain services to satisfy the investors. And so they can reach out at exactly that moment and say, hey, by the way, I've done this for all these other startups that are like you. You are now going to have to be doing this. If you don't have anyone who can help you, I can help you. And that works really well.
Yeah. That feels like serendipity for the person that receives that email. Like, oh, wow, how did you know I needed you right now? That's very different from, hey, I've got this thing. Do you want to buy it? It's very, very different. Yeah.
It's like in the non-accounting space, when that happens, is like you buy a house. Another time is like, oh, you have a baby, right? There's a lot of companies. I don't know how they get this information, but they know when you have a baby, and they just hit you with everything. And some of that is actually really useful. So it's all about.
Prime example, this morning, I had my oven cleaned like 3 years ago. And my oven cleaner this morning sent me a text message going, hey, let me know if you want your oven cleaned. Normally I would ignore it. But at 7 o'clock this morning, I'm sat in bed going, oh, your timing's excellent. I definitely want my oven cleaned. And I've booked him in. And that was the easiest sale he had to make. If he hadn't reached out to me, I wouldn't have got round to doing it. And I wouldn't have remembered who he was. I don't even know his name. But he texted me going, hey, Amanda, it's time you had your oven cleaned. So that's another thing for accountants is, if you do one service a year for a client, don't forget to reach out and offer your other services, because they might not know that you do it, and actually market to your clients as well as market to non-clients would be my advice on that too.
Yeah, so smart. Mindy has a question, asked, how do you know when a startup gets funding? Good question. So they often will brag about it. If it's a big enough round, they'll do a press release, and you can do saved Google searches, and you can follow that. Also, there's a database called Crunchbase where startups put in their funding rounds, so you can monitor that for certain types of funding rounds, whether it was an angel round or a Series A, that sort of thing. So whether or not you serve startups, think about, in the space that you're operating in, is there publicly available information that you can monitor to see when new businesses start or when they enter a certain phase of life? Bankruptcy filings, if you do restructuring and help people, sell off assets or something, that could be one as well. So just some thoughts there. And if anyone in the stream has any suggestions for that, please go ahead and share those in the chat. We'd love to hear them. We had another question for Amanda. Can Amanda share some ideas for a newsletter? What topics to share in a monthly newsletter? And I think I already know what you're going to say, Amanda, that it depends on who your clients are.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on who your clients are, depends on what their problems are. And hopefully, if you decide to run a marketing campaign, then what you can do is listen to your clients that are like the people you want to market to, and just answer their questions in a newsletter. So I did a newsletter that went out last week, I think it was, and it was a simple one: is what is a sales funnel and how can I get it to work for my firm? Literally, people ask me that question all the time. So I created a newsletter that was about that. I get people say to me things like, how do I follow up on proposals and make sure that someone signs it when they've ghosted me? There's another example of a newsletter. So for accountants and bookkeepers, it's very, very simple. You say, what are my clients asking me? How can I provide value in a newsletter to my potential clients to show them my expertise and the value that I can share?
Yeah. As you get questions from clients or prospects that week, write those down and answer those in your newsletter. It's just a good follow-up for every meeting. Joe said, in response to my question about how do you detect when businesses become the right fit, we cold emailed job listings for finance managers asking if they would consider outsourcing. If they say no, we offer recruiting. So that's brilliant, right? You can go and look at job listings for finance managers. Somebody's trying to hire a finance manager, and you can say, well, hey, you're having trouble finding somebody to fill this role. We can do this for you on an outsourced basis. I
Yeah.
love that. It's
That's
so
thinking
clever.
outside the box. Yeah, it's thinking
Yeah.
outside the box. That's like, do you do this? No. Well, that's good because actually we offer this. It's very clever.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it. So Amanda, you've been doing this for a little while now. I think your company is called Oomph. I love
it
that.
is.
I love that name, Oomph. Give
Yeah,
you a little oomph in your marketing there. Tell us
exactly.
a bit about your firm, and you know, I'm sure you get this question a lot. When should I outsource marketing, and when should I do it internally?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the problem that I see accounting firms do is they outsource too quickly. And that's because they haven't worked on the strategy. And if you give your marketing to an agency and you don't have a niche and you're not sure on how you want to help, so you don't have an offer that is scalable, if you are putting in the agency's hand £3,000 or $3,000 a month, and you say, hey, I'm going to take a step back now, get me leads, what's going to happen is you're going to get bad leads because you're not putting the essence of your business into the marketing. So what we do at Oomph actually is set our clients up to in-source, not outsource. So for outsourcing, you'll be paying £30,000 to £50,000 a year, $30,000 to $50,000 a year. But you could actually hire an admin person once you've got your strategy and a proven strategy, just to take away the pain. Now, you do need experts. So you outsource things like Facebook advertising if you can't get it to work. If you want to do SEO, you can outsource that as well. You can outsource YouTube advertising. You can outsource the techie side, but you can't outsource strategy because that's in the partner's head. That's a lot deeper. If I would say to you, Blake, can you talk to me for an hour about how a business can increase their profits or how a business should be doing bookkeeping? You could do that really easily. If you went to an agency and said, hey, can you talk about how Blake helps people with profit? They go, I've got no idea. I'm not Blake. Okay. So that's why I like to insource, to have somebody sat next to the partner, watching the partner, listening to the partner, and listening to the team. So outsource isn't my favorite thing. Insource is, apart from the techie side.
I love that. Amanda, is there anything else you want to share with the audience? Any tips you have, regarding strategy, success? Like what can we do to be more successful?
Have more fun. Like, why do we want to create a business that makes us stressed and gives us heart attacks and gives us heartburn on a good day? It's why do we want to do that? So create a business that gives you freedom. And I'm not talking about having $1 million business and, that's what you have to aspire to, or a $5 million business. I'm talking about get up in the morning, have a spring in your step, work with people that you love to work with, have a small team so you don't have a headache. Like, don't build a monster business with huge number of team unless that's your idea of fun. Okay. And just enjoy it. And if you hate marketing, then understand there will be one bit of it that you enjoy, and you need to speak to someone to find that strategy that you are prepared to try and that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And if you don't like marketing, I can bet your bottom dollar you like the tills ringing. So enjoy the fact that marketing gives you money, and then that can take away the pain of you having to put together a strategy. But
Yep.
yeah, have more fun. Business should be fun. It should be. It's hard work out there. Don't make it any more difficult than it needs to be.
100%. Yes, I agree with you completely, Amanda. And I guess what I would add to that is, I guess from my own experiences, I don't like sales. I don't like marketing, but I do like teaching. I
Yeah,
like helping people learn. And I think a lot of my fellow accountants and bookkeepers are the same way. We like teaching our clients.
yeah,
And so if you partner with a marketer, such as Oomph, such as
yeah,
Amanda, and you get set up so that you can just record yourself teaching, write content, record, create a podcast, whatever it is, then they can go and they can get it out into the right channels, right? And
Absolutely.
that's fun. Another thing, actually, before we go, Amanda, I want to get your take on this. The hot thing that I'm seeing now is some really cutting edge accountants, bookkeepers too, are creating these private communities for their clients. And it can be as simple as just a Facebook group or a Slack channel
Yep.
where you get people, you allow people in who aren't even your clients yet, and they can ask questions, and then you answer them. You can put your stuff into there, and they're even starting. Some of them are even starting to charge for it, like $50 a month to be a part of my accounting community for fitness coaches or for X, whatever it is. Have you seen that? Do you see your clients doing that? Is that what do you think?
That I do. And we have to think about the psychology behind that. I don't know, I'm sure you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But as you go up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you've got the basics, which is I need food and shelter and water. And as you go up, you've got community, and people want to feel something. They want to feel part of something bigger than themselves. And the reason why marketing has changed is you can't just say, hey, buy my stuff. You've got to make people feel like they're part of something. And especially with everything that's happened with COVID, we've been stuck in our houses, we've been on our own, and actually we've been nervous and scared, and we just want somebody to hold our hand. And that's why those communities are so great. So yes, it gives the accountant the opportunity to teach, but actually it gives the accountant to create something bigger than them. And that community is what people will stay for. They come to you because they need a problem solved. They'll stay with you for community.
I love that. Amanda, where should people go if they want to learn more about Oomph? If they want to follow you online, where will you send them?
Yeah, so the best thing to do is Google Amanda C. Watts. So don't forget the C. There's a reason that that's in there. So Amanda C. Watts, if you Google that, please find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my channel. That's where I really love spending time. And also you can go to amandacwatts.com, or you can go to oomph.global, and oomph is spelled OOMPF, not MPH. So MPF, oomph.global. Okay, that's great. Thanks, Blake. That's super.
Sure. And I've just put the link to your profile in the chat for everyone who has joined us live. Do follow Amanda. Lots of great tips, content, tricks on your social media, which is as it should be, right? If you're a great marketer, you should be doing great marketing. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today, Amanda, and thanks everyone for coming. I hope you will join our next broadcast. We're going to be doing these on a monthly basis, and actually don't have the next one up on my screen like I'm supposed to. But I'm sure it's going to be great. So I hope to see you there, and we'll see you next time. Bye, Amanda.
Thanks. See you later. Take care. Bye.